So let's talk about this, man, because you came now, your new thing that you've been doing, and thing I've been following you on is your coffee, man. You got a coffee brand. Now, what made you go into the coffee business? Why coffee?
Man, back around 2009, 2010, I got together with a dear friend of mine. I call him Cuzzo.
Okay.
And we got together and he came up with the idea like, man, we should do a coffee shop. His name Terrell Howard. And so, I was just like, man, we need a brand, by me being somewhat of a celebrity, whatever. You see a lot of different, people that are public figures, they get their own brands, different things. And I was like, man, if we gonna do a coffee shop, let's do a coffee brand, And so we came up with Urbean Joe Coffee, and we did our first coffee shop with the help of the White Side Show and a guy named Rick. And we got our first coffee shop going and up. And we had our second one, Rick got the second one going within the 3 or 4 months up on Larchmere. So we did our first one on St. Clair on 148th and St. Clair.
Yeah.
We did our second one up on Larchmere, like 125th and Larchmere.
Okay.
We got the brand going, but we hadn't kicked in with the brand yet. We just had the name. And so as time went, I developed some names for the coffee, hooked up with a distributor that did the private labeling for me, and we have Urbean Joe Coffee.
All right, Joe.
Coffee with a touch of soul.
Okay, Joe.
Sip soulful.
All right, Joe. Where you get the beans from?
Not telling. Actually, I will. Our beans,
don't tell me that.
The one that you holding right now, those beans come from Colombia. That's Blue Magic.
So
that's a medium roast.
Because my show, I try to help the businessman, the entrepreneur. We try to give them something. So when you give me just a little bit, without we ain't gonna go too deep in it. But when you decided to say I wanted to get into coffee. How do you do that? You don't just go to Colombia, or how do you get into saying I wanted to get into coffee, the different brands? So just in a nutshell, how did that process, Joe?
Just did my homework on how coffee is cultivated, how it's roasted. Just looked around. And
you a coffee drinker?
Yes, a little bit.
Okay.
I drink a cup a day or maybe 2. You know what I'm saying? But I'm a coffee connoisseur. I know the taste, the way that it should be. I could tell when it's gas station coffee, tell when it's great coffee. This is premium coffee. So I eventually found a roasting plant that could roast my coffee. But I got educated on it, and I was part of the blending of it and the roasting.
So
of it.
Roasting is one element. Buying
sourcing
and sourcing is something.
Sourcing it first.
Okay, right.
Growing it, picking it,
okay,
picking the areas and the places that it's from for what taste you're going for.
Okay,
and then getting it to the roasting plant and roasting it accordingly.
Okay.
So just as education, a lot of people be like, strong. I want the dark roast is strong. Dark roast is not the strongest.
No.
The light roast is.
Really?
Because it's after the first crack, it's called a first crack. The beans are removed from the roast. And so therefore is taken to where the gases can come up off of it. And they can settle and they can bag it up by beans or ground. But the first crack coffee is light roast, blonde roast. Then after that, of course, you got the medium roast.
Okay.
Then you got the dark roast. So most of the time, medium roast is stronger than dark roast. Just everybody think it's dark is strong. But I mean, a medium roast is like in the mid. Light roast, blonde roast is like the first hard hitters.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. And so you get your product in stores. You get it in stores, or
you can get online. Urbean Joe Coffee is urbeanjoe.coffee. That's simple.
Yeah, we're gonna put it in the description so you'll be able to get
a link not to urban, because people always change it to urban coffee. It's Urbean.
You know what? You're exactly right. Until you said
about to say urban.
Right. All this time I was calling it. You're right. It say Urbean.
So it's urban coffee, but with the bean on it.
With the bean on it. Yeah. That's it. And so Joe sell this coffee online, and your stores are still open?
No, closed, pandemic. So, I'm just focusing on online, and I'm working on some mobile coffee.
I heard you was talking about that.
Yeah, just gonna move around and have it. But Urbean Joe is like a business. I've been doing it since 2010, and I love the coffee business. I love it. And now we got the K-Cups, the K-Cups Dynasty.
So that's what this is?
Yes, that's the singles. That's called Dynasty. Right there, what you have in your hand, right there is Blue Magic. This is King's Choice.
This is
And a lot of people like, why you
Dynasty?
name it King's Choice? It was like when LeBron first came to the Cavs, and I was like, he the king, so King's Choice was made dedicated to LeBron. I kind of was inspired.
LeBron got the dark roast.
Yes, the dark roast, king stuff. You know, the Blue Magic is the medium
Magic
roast.
is
Then
the
I
medium
have
roast.
2 other roasts. I have my beans from Africa, which is a dark roast.
Okay.
You know, and then I have my blonde roast.
And these are the ones that goes in the cup. Now,
Those are the ones that go in the singles.
Are you doing any flavors?
No,
No.
you flavor it yourself. You're doing hardcore coffee
So you
for the
flavor it
real
yourself.
coffee drinkers. Like if you want your coffee black and,
Right.
and you want to get the real taste of it, texture of it, then that's what you're gonna get when you get Urbean Joe Coffee.
Oh, all right. Joe got the coffee. Any other thing you got going, Joe, you want to let us know about?
Just the coffee and just doing my self-love. I got a self-love thing going on where I talk about self-love. I'm also a workforce development facilitator here in Cleveland at the Salvation Army, Harbor Lights for Reentry Men and Women. So I teach there. You know, it's a company that I got myself and my partner Maurice Stevens.
Okay.
Got a program called Rising Above
Okay.
that we do, and you know, y'all look it up. But we
Hey, man, I'd like you to come back and talk some more about that.
Yeah, man.
I'd
That's
love for you
very
to ever
important
come
in my
back and
life.
talk about that.
It's a self-development program. So I just teach people about their adaptive and transferable skills, helping them. And you know, my guy Maurice Stevens has been a real big mentor to me.
Okay.
To help usher me in with it. And so you know, I love doing what I do, and you know.
I'm going to put a panel discussion together that we're going to be talking about all of that kind of stuff. And love to have you be one of our guys on there, man.
Absolutely, man.
Love that,
Thank you
man.
kindly, man. I appreciate
Oh,
it.
thank you, man.
It's Strategic Moves with Kenn Dowell. This is Strategic Moves with Kenn Dowell.